We're going to spend the rest of the show, which is about 7 or 8 minutes, talking about this concatenation of AB Inbev and SABMiller, because we know that Brazilian-based AB Inbev, which is actually sort of Belgian and US-based as well, with Budweiser and Stella Artois, is basically put in an offer everybody knows to buy SABMiller, and now it's sort of in runoff mode. It hasn't happened yet. SABMiller's price, though, is going up and down as a function of the price at which they're going to buy them out in pounds in London. And then the Brexit thing happened and the pound collapsed and
it all got very complicated.
So we sold our SABMiller in the hot stocks portfolio for 924 Rand a share, which in hindsight was a good exit price, because since then, with the pound weakening, even though they upped the bid price from 44 to 45 pounds,
45 pounds at the moment,
it's not actually that many rands.
No, absolutely. So I mean, we did similar. So when we got that initial 20% run up, we were holding an 8% position in SAB. We sold down to about 4%, and when AB Inbev obviously came onto our market, we then switched into AB Inbev. So very, very similar. So we currently don't hold
just
SAB.
to interrupt you, AB Inbev listing here was a really positive thing for them to do, because they didn't really need to do that. They were just responding to pressure on the ground to see that people wanted to be involved.
But as you mentioned, I think the real issue around this deal at the moment is obviously the Brexit vote, and it's also the distortion between the two types of payout that you can get. So you can either take the £45 a share deal, or there's a mixture of between cash and scrip in AB Inbev, as well as a small cash portion.
And it's now Belgian paper, but you won't be able to trade it for 5 years.
You're going to have a 5-year lock-in, but that's specifically for the two major shareholders, Altria and Bevco. So, and it's to prevent them paying obviously
Bevco is the South American Santo Domingo family.
Exactly right. So now the issue at the moment is when the deal was first discussed was that if you took the cash payout that they would get plus their portion of the AB Inbev shares, it worked out to about £39. Now obviously what's happened is, as you mentioned, there's been a peg in the stock at 44, now £45, and what's happened is you've seen with the Brexit, all the multinational companies in the UK have had a stellar run. Now that's still pegged at £44. What's happened though is anything that doesn't have a peg in it has appreciated 20-30%, including AB Inbev. So our switch into AB Inbev has been very profitable as that company started to move higher. The problem is the cash and scrip deal now is worth about £51.
Oh, no.
So everyone's looking at this and saying, as a minority shareholder,
I'd rather hang in
they're
there.
Not happy. And you're seeing a lot of the hedge funds now agitating to try and get a further deal enhancement. They've now said,
I've seen articles in the news talking about that SAB should be putting their hand up. But if SAB did not have this offer on the table, they would be trading at goodness knows how far much lower down.
Absolutely, SAB trading.
So shut up and take the money.
But I think they're just looking at, again, it's the difference between what the majority shareholders are getting and what the rest of us are getting, and that I think is the issue.
Okay, but hang on. People watching the show are either still long SABMiller, in which case, I don't know, they might as well just wait and see what happens and then get taken out in a closing process, because then you don't at least pay brokerage. If you've switched to AB Inbev, then you've really got an issue here. The company's going to buy SABMiller for a gargantuan sum of billions of dollars, 100 plus, but then it's going to sell lots and lots and lots of assets. Will the resulting AB Inbev, which you can buy today, which we own in the portfolio, do well? It hasn't really done all that well in recent days. Let's look at the share chart of AB Inbev since it listed. It's sort of done nothing. That's the 5-year chart, in fact, in New York. But here in our market, it was at 2,000 rands a share. It sort of drifted down to 1750 or something.
Yeah, but
so just quickly, what would you be doing if you were AB Inbev shareholder, if you were SABMiller shareholder?
Okay. It's a difficult question. Like SABMiller shareholders, I think I would hold on. I think SABMiller is looking very attractive at this time, because I think that you're going to get...
Yeah, show us the SAB graph,
I think you're buying into an asset at this stage that is at a discount. This is too cheap. It shouldn't be at this level, and the only reason it is because you've got that peg in. If the deal for some reason at this late stage falls apart, I think you'll get a further increase in SAB's share price. On the other hand, as an AB Inbev shareholder, I think you're about to buy a fantastic asset at a very, very reasonable price, considering what's happened to the pound. You look at the two operations for SAB that are under pressure are the Chinese operations and the US operations.
Both of those go.
And both of those go. So the Chinese CR Snow Resources is sold off to, I think it's Snow Resources, and Miller Coors has been sold off to Molten Coors. So they're really left with the core great businesses, which are the Nigerian businesses,
and what you're saying is
South
you're
African
backing
businesses.
Carlos Brito and the management team to do financial wizardry,
and I think,
make more money.
Again, we haven't talked about that, but the way that the corporates operate as well, AB Inbev is known as a far more efficient operation, and I think the extraction that they're going to be able to get out of the SAB stable is going to be significant, and you're going to see a lot of cost savings as well. So I think it's difficult because we can't tell what's going to happen with the deal at this stage. If it goes through at this level, I would be a very happy AB Inbev shareholder.
Okay, so in summary, then this is in fact the investment of the day sequence. What you're saying is you're hot on AB Inbev, and you're actually also hot on SABMiller. I'm going to say I'm hot on AB Inbev, but I'm sort of neutral on SABMiller because I don't know what the hell's going to happen there next, and there's some risk.
I think, but there's some risk, but that's it. It's a very different reason for each of the things. I think there could be a punt on SAB now to try and take advantage of a further increase, although they have said that this is the final offer, which under EU regulation means that it has to be a final offer, but you never know. These things always change, especially with a deal of this magnitude.